Well, hi. Hey, um, I'm seeing a lot of you coming on. It is good to see you for yet another installment of our Faith Filled Friday. I see that Linda Clark Lazzaroni Updike is with us. Please forgive my playing today. Um, but as folks gather online, listen to the music of one of my favorite little hymns. Have you figured out what room I'm in? Have you noticed how out of tune the piano is? And of course, I chose that because my playing is bad enough, and I thought I would torture you with my bad playing and the out of tune piano. For those of you who don't know, because you haven't been down toward this part of the church, I'm at the west end of the grass quad. Some of you see the playground set out at the end of the grass quad. I'm in the classrooms just west of there on the very west side of our campus. Some of the original classrooms of this church when they first built them. This is room what we call 6-7. It's where our children gather for the most part for Sunday Funday School. You'll see that Miss Robin and our nursery folks are recreating the tent of meeting. When we first redesigned this room many years ago, we decided this would be the room where the children gather at 9:30 on Sunday mornings to begin their Sunday Funday School lessons. And here, on the first Sunday of the new lesson, they hear the story. They get the story told and under the tent. And the ceiling up over there is covered in a dark blue paint with golden and white stars on it. The whole intention of the room in here was to give the kids a sense that we were out in the Exodus wilderness experience with the Israelites, and in the evening or in the morning we were gathered under the tent of meeting where we would grow in our faith with God as God led us in our journey of faith. And so we recreated it and added murals, and we keep creating it and recreating it as we go. But for this final Friday of May, I wanted to be back in music to be, in a sense, where we started this Faith-Filled Friday at Music in the Sanctuary, and share with you this out-of-tune piano that'll need to be tuned before the kids get back. But this great little song that was written by Jimmy Owens in 1972, which makes it a really new hymn in our hymn book. Can you name the tune? First verse goes like this. couple of years of piano lessons early on in my life, and forcing me to stay with it for a little while until I screamed and said I don't want to learn to play anymore, paid off a little bit. So I choose this song and this place for a very special reason. So here we are down in the children's main gathering room. We use this room in so many different ways to invite the children into the stories of God through the Bible. And that's exactly what we do, is we invite them into the stories. And here they play and they dance and they sing and they act and they dress up and they do all sorts of activities in this room as they hear the word and get involved in the word. It reminds me sometimes of the old song, you put your right hand in, you take your right hand out, you put your right hand in and you shake it all about. Though the Bible isn't about the hokey pokey, it's a fun book to put yourself into, and as that hokey pokey song invites you to do, one part at a time, you put yourself in until you get to the end, and that was the best part of the song and the best part of the dancing with the song, because you got to put your whole self in, take your whole self out, put your whole self in, and you shake yourself about. That's what we invite our children to do in this room, is to kind of get in a little bit into the story and come back out and get another part of you into the story and come back out, because sometimes the stories are hard to understand and they're hard to get into, and sometimes the stories of the Bible are harsh and a little bit scary, and we want them to understand that God sees us through all of that until you are ready to simply put your whole self in with God. And that's what we're inviting you all to do, to just kind of reach in and reach back and reach in again and reach back. This hymn invites us to put ourselves in little bits at a time until we're ready to get ourselves into the whole holiness of God. I just realized you're seeing what I'm seeing as I'm watching you. I'm just going to get rid of that so you're not watching yourselves. But to bit by bit put yourself into the Word and into the story of God until as you make your journey in life, you're ready to put your whole self in. This hymn says, "We lift our hearts before you as a token of our love." Second verse says, "We lift our heads before you as a token of our love." The third verse says, "We lift our hands before you as a token of our love." And the fourth verse says, "We lift our voice before you as a token of our love." It is a reminder to me, in a sense, of the hokey pokey song, that you, bit by bit, you put yourself into your faith, you put yourself into the Word of God, into the story of God, until you're ready to get your whole self in. And some of us like getting into the cold pool, one toe at a time. But some of us are ready to take that big leap, and I hope you are ready to put your whole self in, because it's when you really get your whole self in that you discover the holiness of God in life. Ready? By the way, I think I saw my grandchildren online. Hello, Oliver. Hello, Theo. Hello, Royce. Holy, 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 Lord God Almighty. And we lift our hearts before you as a token of our love. Holy, 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 holy. Wait, I skipped a verse. Precious Jesus, precious Jesus. Aren't you glad I'm not your musician leader? We're so glad that you've redeemed us, precious Jesus. Nor am I your church accompanist. And we lift our hands before you as a token of our love. Precious Jesus, precious Jesus. Holy Spirit, Holy Spirit, come and fill our hearts anew, Holy Spirit. And we lift our voice before you as a token of our love. Holy Spirit, Holy Spirit. It's a great song. It's a great hymn. It's very simple. And it just simply invites you to take part by part. And immerse yourself in the story and the Word of God. I invite you to do that today. Whatever part of you is in, add a new part. If you're ready to go all in, go all in. Whatever all of that means for you, I'm not sure. But I just know that the deeper you go in, the more you give yourself into the story, the more you're going to discover the incredible holiness of God. And it's a pure and wonderful, amazingly grace-filled holiness that will love you through every part of your life. It's a holiness that will celebrate with you when life is really good and will be with you when life is really awful. It will honor you when you succeed and hold you and get you back up when you fail. That holiness of God will perfect you until all of you is also holy. And you just got to put parts of yourself in, folks. And know that sometimes in this journey of faith as human beings, we sometimes take those parts back out and then we put another part in until we're ready to get our whole self in. And when you are, it's gonna be amazing. God's holiness is with you and around you and simply invites you into a relationship with God. And God understands that we're human beings and that we're not always ready for that. And we're a little bit shy sometimes. And some of us are just right in there. And the song just simply reminds me that in this journey, it's okay to just be in until I'm ready to be all in. And sometimes I'm in, and sometimes I get scared and I'm out. That's why I love doing the hokey pokey. That's why I love being on the journey of faith. And I hope that you are as well. And I hope that you're loving it. And I hope that you're well in your life. And I hope that this tune gets stuck in your head. Holy, 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 Lord God Almighty. And we lift our hearts before you as a token of our love. Holy, 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 holy. Wherever you are in your life, whatever you're facing today, know that the holiness of God is around you and inviting you simply to put yourself in, and understands when you can and cannot, and when you need to just put a little bit of yourself in and take a little bit of yourself out. And it's all good, folks. Just stay in the journey. I just invite you to stay in the journey. Thank you for being with us on these Faith-Filled Fridays. no, this doesn't complete them. I have a new idea for what I want to do and keep these going. And the month of May, I wanted to be here on the church campus in different places, just to give those of us who love being on this church campus a chance to see it and know that it's still here. It's still well. In June, I hope to do a little traveling out and meeting some people. So be careful, I might be at your doorstep and you might be a part of my Faith-Filled Friday. That could be cool. I always encourage you on these live videos, particularly those of you who are watching on Facebook, share them. Share them to your own feed. Be an evangelist. Let other people know that there's some good mainline Protestant Presbyterianism out there, inviting them into a relationship with God and Jesus Christ that doesn't have to be so scary as sometimes we see it on the media. You don't have to be perfect, folks. You just have to be you. Put parts of yourself in, take parts of yourself out until you're ready to put your whole self in, and know that the Holy Spirit will be with you. So, to the question, let me make sure you're hearing me. To the question of when can we return to the campus? Just checking in. Our Christ Presbyterian Church safety team met again online this last week. Our session leadership team has empowered the safety team to really study and understand what needs to happen in the midst of the coronavirus and what cannot happen. So our safety team has done lots of study, not just about general things about the coronavirus, but particularly related to faith communities and church homes and our own Christian worship and how we do all of that. And so we are saying that we are still online only in the month of June, throughout the month of June. And we plan to be back sometime in July. We are planning what we're calling a soft opening on Sunday, July 12th. That is a hopeful date only. We know that statistics change all the time in a virus that spreads. We know that as people in the community continue to go out into life, to restaurants, to shopping, to the gym, whatever, that the virus begins to spread again. And it may well be that we have to pull that date back and push it back. Our state governor was on just yesterday on the news and declared that we're still in phase 1. And so that was a little bit discouraging, despite the thought that we hope to be back in July. We're going to press forward with a hopeful start date of July 12 in worship. Yes, we are going to require folks to continue that social distancing, physical distancing that the CDC still recommends and encourages. So family groups can be together, but they'll be about 6 or more feet apart from other individuals or other family groups or couples. We will continue our 8:30 and 10:45 service, which will then give people a chance to spread out between the two services, and we hope that gives us greater distance. So it is our hope to come back as of July 12. Pay attention to all our social media, all our emailing to you. If you are not getting any of our emails, it is your fault. It is because you have not called us or emailed us with your email to make sure that we have you on our list. If you want to be on our email list of our directory, you need to let us know. You can email our office manager, Stella. Her email is office, O-F-F-I-C-E, office at cpctucsonaz.org. That's office at cpctucsonaz.org. And Stella can get you into the system and onto the mailing list to receive notifications and all the other things that we send. So again, it's our hope to do a soft opening on July 12th, Sunday, for worship. We will not be offering fellowship food. We will only be offering time to gather for worship Of course, folks will probably hang out a little bit afterwards. We're going to still encourage social distance, but at least those who feel safe enough to come can come. We know already that there are a lot of us who don't feel comfortable being out in groups and will not be able to come and will not choose to come. And so we are continuing a full focus to being online and worshiping online together and offering faith growth opportunities online. So that will continue and be intensified over the months. So know that this is our initial plan. We know that some are excited about it. We know that some think it's too late to do it. Some think it's too soon to do it. But here's where we're going based on the best information that we can deal with. Soft opening on Sunday, July 12th. In the month of July, we will also begin opening the campus to small groups of around 10 or so who could gather safely in a room like this, still have physical distance, probably wear masks. So that opens up for Bible studies, some of our committee meetings, women's crafty group could come back in July. And so we're looking at all those kinds of things as well. We're having still some issues in getting the disinfectant we need, but we feel we have enough for now to be able to disinfect a room after people have been in it. And that's a great mitigating factor. The biggest challenge for us in worship is group singing. According to all the experts that we read and see, singing has the greatest probability of creating viral spread of anything, really, for a group of people in an enclosed space for an extended period of time. Therefore, we will not be doing congregational singing as we have always done in the past. Our choir will not be together yet until we know it is safe for all of those things to happen. We're going to get really creative with music in worship. For those of you who were with us worshiping at 10:45 last Sunday, you know that Luke, our director of music, was able to put together a virtual choir. He's continuing to explore that. He's going to open that up to the entire congregation, and we're going to look at some group congregational singing. We'll work with our band. We'll probably be able to have some solos and maybe those instruments of the band and our music leaders in worship. But we'll get really creative because we will not be doing congregational singing for a while. We may speak the hymns, but we will not be singing them. It just is too much for us, and we want to keep everybody's safety as best we can, keep people safe. So, good news. Our hope is to be back in worship as of Sunday, July 12th, for those who feel that that's safe for them to come. And yet know that we will continue a focus to our online worship ministry and hope that that gives all of us that opportunity to continue to worship. That may change at any moment, folks. And